Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Now, your show, Lydia, that opens in a couple weeks, so you're still kind of hard at work in rehearsals right now. Tell us a little bit about this title. It's a relatively new play. Is that correct?
The play is from 2006.
Okay.
But it's going to be the premiere in Fresno, so the first time that it's produced here. It's the story of a Mexican-American family who mom and dad crossed the river and settled in El Paso to have a family. And now they have 3 kids who are in their teenage years, and a horrible accident has traumatized this family. And they have a disabled daughter who needs to be taken care of. And so they make the decision to hire a maid. And the person who shows up is Lydia. And she's an undocumented immigrant and develops a special bond with different members of the family. But their relationship actually comes to the point of revealing some secrets that were deeply buried in this family. And the secrets just unleash the rage of the family, and unfortunately they take their rage out on Lydia. And that is the story that we're telling.
So this sounds like a pretty intense play.
It is.
And you describe it really as a tragedy.
It is. It is full of tragic moments that this family has to deal with, and it really, what we're witnessing as audience members is how the family is, how each member of the family is trying to deal with the accident and the aftermath of that accident.
So Ruby, tell us a little about Lydia. What kind of person is she?
Yeah, her personality. She, I find her to be very bold and a free-spirited person, unapologetic. She, whereas in her role, I think she would make herself small or even invisible to the family, but she kind of just really inserts herself in the family.
She sounds like a pretty charismatic person if she's able to forge these bonds with the different members of the family.
Yeah, I think so. I think how Gina was saying, the story as far as themes and outcome, it's a tragic story, but it does have some like light-hearted moments where, not that Lydia is like a comedic like relief, but has like those interactions, just really simple, funny, lighthearted moments in it, and she kind of is a part of those moments as well as the tragic ones.
So Gina, this is your first year at Fresno State. So first of all, welcome to Fresno and the Fresno arts scene. You were hired as a Latinx theater specialist. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Can you tell us a little bit about that term and what you're going to be doing at Fresno State?
Absolutely. So the term Latinx is it's something that it's fairly recent. I would say in the last 6 years or so, there's been a push from academics, especially, but not just academics, but also artists and people who work in the cultural sector, to make our name a little bit more inclusive, because the Spanish language it's a gender language, and so when we speak about Latino, we're specifically referring to the male gender, and as a way to opening up to the big spectrum of different personalities and identities that we can find as human beings, we've adopted the term Latinx to be more inclusive, not just of male and female, but everything else in between as well.
And that is actually spelled Latinx.
Exactly.
So Ruby, how did you feel when you learned that Fresno State was going to be hiring Gina, basically?
Oh, I thought it was the coolest thing. I still think it's super awesome, and I'm just so excited when I found out that this is happening. It's kind of like the first of something happening at State. I think a large part of our demographic is made up of Latinx and Chicanx people who consider themselves under those those titles, and there's not that much theater that kind of represents my family, that looks like my family. So I'm just so excited for my family to come out and, for my mom to be like, oh, that's me up there. I can relate to that moment, that dynamic, that situation, and that gets me really excited.
Now, is it very common to find Latinx theater specialists in other universities across the country, or is this kind of a cutting-edge thing for Fresno State?
I consider it a cutting-edge thing for Fresno State, and I'm really happy that Fresno State took that initiative to do that, because they're really listening to the demographic that they're serving. For me, like for the moment that I arrived here, I felt like I immediately fit in. It has been incredible just how aware the students are of needing that connection to their heritage, to their culture, and seeing themselves represented on stage. And I am happy that I can contribute to that and be a part of it, because it's my culture as well. Mm-hmm. And I'm happy to have a place where my theater can be viewed and received by a population that can actually understand it and see the value of it. I'm very happy with that.
So do you think you'll be looking mostly at contemporary plays to do in the future, and is there a large body of work to choose from?
Absolutely. I mean, this country has been producing Latino theater since the 1960s. There's an incredible amount of playwrights, of published work that are out there, not just written here in the United States, but also all throughout Latin America that have been translated and that it's available to us. And also, there's also the canon of Spain, Garcia Lorca and other Spanish writers that speak about our culture and what it means to represent Latino culture. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, there's enough material for us to work with for many, many years to come.
Now, your first play, I mean, that's kind of a major thing right there. What made you pick Lydia to be your first title?
Well, it is my first play at Fresno State.
At Fresno State,
yes.
Of course.
The reason why, I think Lydia is very significant in many, many ways, but one of the things that attract me to it in particular is that it has a lot of strong female characters, and that's important to me. Usually, it's hard to find plays that represent women so strongly, and we have three very strong characters in this play: the mom, the daughter, and Lydia, who are dealing with their own sense of identity, who are trying to navigate what it means to put their Mexican heritage and their American heritage together, and at the same time, they have strong wishes and desires for their lives, and they have the pressure of a society that tells them that they should behave in certain ways because they're women and stuff. And I think that's very valuable, not just for Latino culture, but for everybody. So this is a play that deals with universal themes about what it means to grow up, right? The protagonist is a young woman who's 16 years old. What it means to grow up and to accept who you are as a woman and be independent. And I think that not just Latinas, but everybody can relate to that. Mm-hmm.
So, Ruby, have you ever played the title character in a play before, and were you at all apprehensive about landing this role? I mean, does it feel like it's a big deal for you?
Yeah, no, I'm super honored, and I'm excited, and I feel really blessed to be part of this process. No, I haven't, I guess, landed the title role. What I just think is so interesting about the show is, like, I get that, like, feedback from a lot of people. It's like, oh, you're playing Lydia, and Lydia, that's like a huge deal, and I think it's super awesome. But the story is just, every character in the story is so, like, prominent,
right? And
just their interactions with each other. I feel like it's hard to say that Lydia would be like the main character.
So it's very much an ensemble.
It is.
Yeah.
It's an ensemble piece.
Yeah.
And how would you describe, we just have a little bit of time left, but what is your directing style? Is it a collaborative style? How do you approach that rehearsal process?
Oh, absolutely. It's a collaborative process. I'm there to guide my students, but my primary role is a professor also. So I am directing them, but I'm also trying to encourage them to find their own voices and to find their own artistic drive. That's the most important thing in the process.
Well, good. Yeah. So tell us, when is Lydia, when does it open, and where does it play?
You want to answer it?
March 16th through the 24th at the Woods Theater.
At the Woods Theater. So it's the smaller theater at Fresno State.
Yes, and performances are at 7 p.m. Every night except for Sunday, which is at 2 p.m.
Okay. Well, and it's a great space to see a show, a very intimate
Yeah,
space.
intimate.
So
Yeah.
it sounds like a pretty intense and meaningful play, and so I'm sure being that close will make a difference
Yes,
as well.
it's intense, but it's incredibly poetic, very beautiful, and we have an incredible team of designers who have made it incredibly beautiful set for us
Well,
to
great.
enjoy.
I look forward to it. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.